Okay, like I was saying, this will probably be the last time I give you guys any overall kind of lecture in regards to marketing, if you want to call it a lecture. Again, today's just going to be a few tidbits, just throw it in where need be. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. Just got some nice funny things that I can show you guys so you can enjoy it for a little bit and get you into the proper mood. The marketing, I haven't changed the date yet, but it'll be due that Friday before spring break, yeah. And I see a few of you have already put some stuff in there. I'll try to look at that and review it and give you a little feedback, whether it's in class or actual feedback back in the Dropbox. Probably be in class, just come around. I don't know if those were mission statements or what. I haven't even looked at it, but probably when you guys get busy today, I'll take a minute and look at those. And if they're lengthy, I'll wait and look at it later or something, read through it. But if they're short ones that you just want a little feedback, I'll try to give you that feedback today even. So, but I think that's great. Feel free to put things in the Dropbox any time. And if I somehow haven't looked at it for a few days and you're kind of anxious to get some feedback, don't feel bad about reminding me, even if that means sending me an email or something, because I know you guys, if you're putting it in there, it means you want some feedback from me, and so I will try to endeavor to get that back to you in a relatively timely fashion. So don't worry about feeling like you're bugging me, because that's fine. All right. So marketing strategies. One thing we again, is just kind of a reminder, but we tend to equate marketing to advertising, and advertising is just a small part of marketing. Marketing's the whole thing, right? So it involves your strategy, whether you're a differentiator, those types of things. So build on that. Don't just build on your advertising campaign. Advertising campaign is important. I'm not trying to diminish that at all, but build on the other facets too. If you're going to be a low-cost provider, what are the things you're going to do to be that low-cost provider? If you're going to be a differentiator, what are the things you're going to do to be a differentiator? And a lot of times I get, when I read these, a lot of what I would call cliche types of statements. Well, our service is going to be the most friendly, of course, and those types of things. And that's okay, but boy, if you can think about it and get more into it besides that, the more the better, or the more different, the more better too. So superior marketing, quickly, right? Pricing differential, that doesn't mean less necessarily, right? Your pricing might be more. When you go to Starbucks, do you expect to pay more or less? Probably more, yeah. But you go anyways, don't you? Because it's good, right? You like the atmosphere, those types of things. Attention to packaging. That doesn't mean most of us aren't selling, stuff in a package, fancy package or whatever. But even if it's a service, how are we going to package that service? What types of things are we going to put together? Can we bundle? We hear bundling a lot with our phone and internet and those types of things. Can we bundle our service, right? John, can you offer to unload and stack the firewood, for the person? I don't know. Things like that would be included kind of in the packaging, right? Build some customer loyalty. Right? You might put into place some things that would actually build customer loyalty, right? Your 10th cord of firewood's free or something, I'm just throwing out weird things, but those are loyalty programs that you see. You'll see that at maybe even like a Starbucks where your 10th cup of coffee is free or something, right? You get a little coupon thing. And those are just simple examples. You guys might come up with some that are even better, right? Samples and demonstrations. Will you do that? Maybe. For some folks that might be a brilliant idea. Educate customers. We kind of talked about that a little bit Monday. Things that you can do to educate not just customers, but potential customers, right? I don't know anything about horse chiropractic, right? Or chiropractic, or whatever it is, right? Nothing. What's that do for a horse? I have absolutely no idea. Macy's going to need to, now I don't have a horse, but if I had a horse, she would still need to educate me, right, on the advantages of having, that service provided for my animal, right? Okay. The vet hasn't talked me into brushing my dog's teeth yet either, even though he claims that's a good thing. So takes some education sometimes for guys like me. So, marketing concept, right? Giving special consideration to the needs, desires, wishes of present and prospective customers. So, everything needs to be designed for their satisfaction, right? Think about them, not just yourself, when you're putting this stuff together. So, customer orientation, right? Focus on customer needs. We just talked about that. Goal orientation. You should set some goals in your marketing plan. Okay, I'll be really disappointed if you don't have some goals. What are the goals? Actual financial goals are fine. They can be number of customers, number of cords of wood that I'm going to sell. Okay, those types of things, and they might even be bigger. You know, customer contacts, and maybe you feel like you're only going to get 25% of those contacts are going to ultimately become sales. Okay, and that's fine. You know, those types of goals you can set, and they're kind of interesting and they're good to see, right? And it might show some realism to your plan. Systems approach, we got to have everything working together. I wonder how that guy's job went later that day. Huh?
Is that real?
I think so. I mean, it's just something I got probably off the internet or something someplace, but it kind of looks like it's real. So, marketing research areas, again, identify customers. That's going to be really, really important, right? Your market segmentation. Tell me who it is you're gearing for. Who's going to be your customer base? Determine their needs, right? Evaluate the sales potential. How many are there? Spend some time, again, looking at databases that are available. One that I didn't say, it's, excuse me, it often has links just back to the Census Bureau and whatnot, but sometimes it's easier to find. I think this is still available. Last time I taught this class it was, but there's a site called ePodunk. It's kind of funny. ePodunk, all one word, just E-P-O-D-U-N-K, ePodunk.com. And that will give you information about a town or locality that's kind of interesting that might help you fill in some blanks here, right? About the number of potential customers that you have, what the total population is and whatnot. Census Bureau and ePodunk will link you, I think, to the Census Bureau. It'll break it down further. You know, if your target market is guys 18 to 35 years old, you know, and you might look at the Census Bureau because they're what am I trying to say? Where they categorize folks, you know, they might have 18 to 30, for example, and so you might choose that to be your target market, or they might have 18 to 30, 30 to 40, or something like that. So you might be 18 to 40, and it'll tell you how many people, how many guys even, or how many gals in Havre, Montana fit that age group. Okay, and so that's kind of important. That's the kind of information that I expect to be in your plan, right? Select the appropriate channel of distribution. Am I going to sell to Walmart? You know, is John going to haul wood into Stromberg's down there and just set it out? I see there's some people that do that. You know, they sell wood down there and little things for people that want to go camping. Okay, or am I going to just all be direct? Am I going to go right directly to the customer? Right? Okay, and those are the types of channels you guys have to do. And then evaluate your advertising and promotion. Those things, right? So sources of information, you might have some existing information that's good, right? Primary research. What's primary research? Do we know primary versus secondary? If you go to the Census Bureau, is that primary or secondary? That's secondary research. Primary research I often describe as talking to the guy on the bar stool next to you, right? That'd be perfect for you guys. So, in fact, my quartet has told me I have to go to the brewery this week to do some primary research, so I'm going to do that. I like it when they give me assignments like that. Okay, but primary research might include things like surveys. And there's some simple ways you can do surveys if you really want to do one. You could do a Survey Monkey, I think, allows you to do some of those things for free, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know that I've ever set one up on there. I've taken surveys that were on Survey Monkey, I know, and I've done some that students have actually sent to me, I think, if I remember right.
Survey Gizmo's really good too.
What's the name?
Gizmo?
Survey Gizmo, Gizmo. Okay, Survey Gizmo is another good one. Okay, good. So nothing wrong with doing that. You know, why not do that and send it out to your classmates or something potentially, you know, or to people that might be in your target market, those types of things. Nothing wrong with that. So specialized techniques, you might have focus groups too, different things like that. A focus group would be, in Macy's case, in Macy's case, it might be people that are at a roping, people that are at a rodeo, people that are at a, and you might just sit with them. You know, you might have to buy them coffee one morning or beer one night and sit around with them and say, what do you guys think? You know, okay, that would be kind of a focus group. You take good notes, copious notes about what they say, what their feedback is, okay? And then, of course, the web, and you guys know far more about that than I do. Facebook or I don't know, can you use Instagram for some type of advertising or marketing? You guys would know, yeah. Again, surprise me here. Okay, I'm looking forward to, I wouldn't say that in the past, you know, I've had a lot of students bring forth some ideas in this regard, but I think we're getting to that point now, you know, where I don't imagine that you would start a business now without doing the Facebook thing, probably. You know, even if I were going to start a business, I'd probably have to actually break down and get onto Facebook and whatnot. So I'm hoping to get some surprises from you guys in terms of what that's going to kind of look like. Do you need to go out and set up a Facebook page for your imaginary business? No. Okay, but I think you can talk about it and the things that you might do on that and give me some ideas. If you do set up the Facebook page, great. Computerized databases, that's your Census Bureau, those types of things. Okay. Make use of those. Primary research, I miss Buy Mart. They were a store that we had here in Haber. I actually really kind of liked them. And they had a little card. You had to have a membership. You paid $5 for, no big deal. But they wanted to keep track of when you came and those types of things. I've got a Sears/Kmart member rewards card or something now. Yeah, same thing, right? So when I pay, you know, we build points, and at the end of the year, you know, you got $4.79 worth of points you can use or whatever. But what are they tracking? They're tracking what we're purchasing and what we want, right? So that it gives them a better idea of what kind of marketing will be important. I might even get some emails or things that show up on my computer, because they know how to do that kind of stuff, that they think I might like, right? And those are things that you could, you know, kind of think about setting up too, right? Because there's so many ways that you can, I don't know, I think there would be ways you could gather that information maybe, aside from that, with some of the modern, look at that, is it called Square? The deal that you can hook right into the phone thing? I'm wondering how much of that you could also use for some research for customer, you know, what they're buying, keeping track of that from your standpoint. I'm sure you can, I haven't looked into it enough. Okay, marketing strategy, set some objectives, again, some goals, right? Choose your target market. I think we've talked about all those different types of things. Regional purchasing differences, that would be, I don't know that that's a big deal because you guys are all going to be smaller businesses here. You're probably not going to be selling things around the world that I know of. Remember the 4 Ps, okay? You know, just don't try to hide those in your marketing thing either. You know, I probably expect a subheading for each of the 4 Ps, right, where you're going to tell me about those things. Okay? Remember, place is probably a little bit of a misnomer. That's more like your distribution is your place. Oh, that's mean. it's not much different than the buzz collars that they have, I wouldn't suppose. So. Things about packaging, right? Promotes, protects, and identification. But again, packaging, I think, is a little more than just what it shows up in, because for most of you guys, you know, packaging's not going to be too big of a deal. You guys maybe be the exception there. And again, you're going to be selling things how, you know, starting off, probably not by the keg or anything, but you're going to have growlers, and you're going to have glasses, and you're going to have some of the other stuff, right? Does all of those things, promotes brand recognition, influences buying decision, etc. You know, the best thing, if you can sell somebody a glass that they're going to have sitting up in their cupboard that's got your name on it, great. I mean, you're selling it, even if you break even on that, you're just getting free advertising then, so those things are kind of wonderful. You guys ever notice the little arrow that's right there? That was on purpose. The arrow in the FedEx.
That was on purpose.
Yeah, yep, kind of a forward-looking arrow. I went through an advertising thing when it showed probably about a dozen different companies and their logos or their deals like FedEx, and it talked about little subtle messages that are in them. A lot of times it is just an arrow. One of them's kind of a smiley face type of thing and different things like that, so it's kind of cool. I don't think Sharper Image even exists anymore. I think they finally went out of business, if I'm not mistaken.
What is it?
It was kind of an eclectic, cool shopping place, if that makes sense. I can remember being in a couple of their stores, and it would sell. God, it's hard to even describe. It's like like it says here, a lot of really cool stuff that really looked neat that really you probably never use. Knickknacks that you'd set on your desk. Oh golly, I can remember these little oh gosh, like marbles, not marbles, steelies we called them, like bigger ball bearings, you know, that were on strings and they hung down from this deal, and you could start one and then it would bounce the one off the other end. It would sit there and do that for a half an hour before it finally ran out of juice. Just different weird kind of eclectic things like that. But some of it were kind of high-tech things too. They'd gotten into some high-tech stuff. I don't think they're around anymore. I don't know, somebody Google that for me, see if the Sharper Image is even. I think they either got bought out or went broke. So pricing, right? What's our pricing things, right? We got to talk about our customer, what they can afford. Our company or culture, those types of things that we might have, our competition, if we have any, and then the constraints that we might have. Obviously, one constraint is our break-even point, right? We got to make money on each thing that we offer, so that becomes important. Okay, some influences, stage of the product life cycle. So while you guys are starting new businesses, we're still at different stages, right? You know, fitness is probably in the mature stage, maybe, right? I don't know, and for, you know, firewood might be in the decline stage even. That doesn't mean that it can't be a good business, but let's face it, we're seeing folks getting away from that type of heating more and more, and partly because of the environmental stuff and people complaining about global warming and whatnot, right? Craft brews, I don't know. Growth still? Craft brews are still very much taking market share as a whole, and so they might still be in the growth stage. Macy, you'll have to tell me.
But slowly.
Yeah, well, but still growing, right? Still growing. So the stage of your product life cycle helps you to set your price, right? What your competition is, cost oriented. What that means is that you got to determine what your cost is going to be, and then figure out a price over and above that, obviously, because you got to make some money. Can you have flexibility or not? You might be firm. That's okay. Nothing wrong with that. A few are manufacturing things, suggested retail. Probably not going to have to worry about those or list price for any of you guys. Prestige pricing, that's kind of back to the Starbucks thing a little bit, right? We make the best stuff, and so we're going to charge you for it, basically. Leader pricing or a price leader, so lower price. Bait pricing, get them in. Okay, if you're selling multiple things, you might have some bait pricing. Okay, that's possible. Okay, trying to think of a good example of places that do bait pricing. Oh, like McDonald's will do their dollar drinks. You know, you might call that kind of a base price. Any size $1, you know, sodas at McDonald's. Okay, yeah, you know, that's pretty cheap for a soda, and you can get a large. But what do they want you to do when you get there? Buy something else, right? They're hoping that you do. So, odd pricing, just make it some weird number instead of $1.99 like everybody does. You make it a weird number just to try to get somebody's attention. Psychological pricing is your gasoline, right? $1.99.9, make you feel like it's not $2. Price lining, you know, adding a little bit because you can and getting away with it. Demand-oriented pricing, that's probably where most of us end up. You know, what's our customer going to say? What are they going to want? Markup. Markup is a percentage of cost. So in most retail places, we say that the markup's about 100% maybe, right? Their cost, they buy something for 50 cents, they sell it for $1. Okay, that's the markup then. Their gross profit, in that case, is 50%, right? Okay, their gross profit per item is 50%, or their contribution margin, we might say, also is 50% in that case. So try not to confuse those, and when you're talking about those in your plan, you know, use the terms and use them correctly if you can. So. Man, I could have got a lot of free lunches when I was a kid, I'm telling you. Price setting, you know, it kind of depends on what you are. I think most of you are fitting into this service firm, maybe. Some of you retailers. You know, the beer, right? I mean, you're going to be $4 for a glass of beer because everybody charges $4 for a glass of beer. You know, it's going to be tough to, you know, say we're going to be $5, unless your beer is going to be extra special good. Yeah, we haven't seen. Huh?
Bowser's charges $3 for theirs.
You know why though? Because they're selling 12 ounces instead of 16 ounces. I'm pretty sure the last time I was there, they had 12-ounce beers because you could get 4 of them versus the 3. So 3, like down here at Mike's, is, you know, for a 16-ounce or a pint, which is more typical for craft beers, is the pint. So, okay. But, you know, so is Bowers differentiated though? Yeah. You know, would my wife be more apt to go with me to Bowser's where she can have one smaller glass, you know, versus a whole pint? Maybe, because she doesn't drink quite as much beer as I do, you know, and so that might make sense. In fact, not nearly as much as I do. But that's why I like going down here, because then if she can't finish hers, somebody has to. You can't let it go to waste. So, okay. Wholesalers, I don't think any of you guys are going to be wholesalers. Producers, none of you are manufacturing really anything. John would be kind of in the production part of it, maybe. Building contractors, Garrett's going to be doing that, but he's, and cost plus is going to be what he does exactly, right? Okay. He's down wrestling, by the way. Good announcement that wrestling's going on in Great Falls tonight. I think 7. Do you know, Trevor? Or? Okay, I think it's 7 against the dreaded Argonauts, so if you're free and you want to drive down there. Marketing services, right? What's the nature of the service? Is it a personal service? Are you providing that to individuals? You guys would, fitness, right? But maybe businesses, because could you sell it as a wellness product or something to a business, you know, that has 10 employees? Maybe they want to get their employees all fit and active and all those things, and so you go down and sell them a business membership, possibly, right? And you can do both, okay, either or both, it's fine, okay? And then tell me how you're going to differentiate your service. You know, that's going to be a big deal, so. What's going to be your level of customer contact? Your guys might be very little, right? Could be. Yours is probably going to be pretty high. I would guess that the person's gonna be right there with you when you're doing your thing, and so, yeah, pretty high. You know, Trevor and Alex, you guys are gonna be pretty high, right? Primacy, I'm not sure what that means. Pricing, you know, what's the quality of your product or service compared to others? What's your degree of expertise or specialty? You know, is it a value to a buyer? You know, sometimes like Macy's getting brand new into this, and maybe there's some people that are out there that have been doing it for 20 years. She might have to price a little lower, you know, penetration pricing, we call that, right? To try to build some market share, you know, to get some customers, right? Because you are new at it. It's possible. And then the promotion, we talk about the advertising and stuff that we do as well. So. I think I'm about done. Okay. Dang, I